Hey folks, welcome to another one of these videos. I tried to make a couple in the last couple weeks, but for whatever reason the footage wouldn't transfer from the GoPro Quick app onto my iPad or anywhere else, so I haven't lost the footage, but I can't really use the footage. I don't know. Anyway, I got this one to work. Instead of putting it through the GoPro app, I just put it directly into my computer. So that was good. Anyway, here I'm turning a pencil, a mechanical pencil. A wood pencil would be very difficult. But an interesting idea nonetheless. Anyway, I'm just making it around here. I'm using Palo Santo rosewood, which I've really come to enjoy because I've seen it sort of morph over the last couple of weeks. Now, what I mean by that is I've made a few other pens with this Palo Santo rosewood, and when I'm finished with it, it looks quite dark. It looks quite rich. But then I was looking at the pens a couple days ago, and I noticed that they had almost turned green, this beautiful green, like evergreen, and these veins, and it's just gorgeous. Anyway, I need to update the pictures on the Etsy listing because the pens no longer look anything like what they initially did, which is beautiful, which I absolutely love, and what makes this whole process just that much more exciting and interesting. Yeah, I made my first sale on Etsy, which was very exciting. It was a custom pencil. So the person told me what kind of wood they wanted and the finish, and gave me some ideas about how they wanted the pencil to look, and then I made it for them. It should be getting to them this week, and then we'll see. Hopefully they like it as much as I enjoyed making it. With this pencil here, what I'm doing is I'm taking inspiration from the Pentel Technica X pencil. I don't know how many of you are going to remember this pencil, mechanical pencil. It's got to be well over 20 years old now. I haven't seen it anywhere in, I guess, 20 years. But I absolutely loved it when I had it. I remember using it in high school, and it was a great pencil. So that's where I'm taking inspiration from for this one. Make my own version of it. I mean, yeah. So that's what we're doing. We're just making it around here. One of the things I was thinking about doing was tracking my business through YouTube. You know, like YouTubers tell you about how they're doing in business and stuff like that. So I thought maybe I could do that. It's been a couple months. March 23rd, I think, is when I registered the business. So just over a month, maybe close to 6 weeks. I've made 2 sales, totaling just over $100, but that's before Etsy takes its fees. Which is not great. And I think Etsy took $10. Yeah, so one sale was cash, so there's no Etsy fees there, and then the next sale was $64, but then Etsy took almost $10. So I'm walking away with $94. Not bad. When you consider the costs and everything. I think in total I've spent nearly $1,900 on equipment and tools and blanks and various things I probably didn't need to spend money on, but did anyway because I thought I needed them, or just having them in my possession makes me feel better, even though I'll never use them, like my exercise bike or those resistance bands. They're great to have, make me feel like I can do something good for myself, but they're just there for the moral support. Yeah, so this one here is kind of looking like a thumb. I remember thinking this looks like a thumb. I don't know if you can kind of see it there. What was the other thing? Oh, the other thing I was thinking about was how this pen turning has become something of a mindfulness practice. And I can really tell when I'm bringing stress into this, or like when I'm angry or frustrated with something, and then I try and turn a pen, versus when I'm just relaxed about it and I'm enjoying the process and playing some music, maybe have a cup of tea on the go or something like that. It's an entirely different experience. With this pen here, I'm in a pretty relaxed state. I took the day off work because we get to do that sometimes. And so glad I did, because it's just nice to have a 3-day weekend when most other people don't have a 3-day weekend. The long weekends where everybody has the day off are almost more stressful because you can't really do anything. Not that I did anything today, but like the resistance bands, I just feel better knowing I could have. Yeah, so here I'm just trying to make round. So the front end, which is on the left, I want it like a bulbous shape. And then at the back, I kind of want it swooping up a little bit. I don't know how close I got to that. The width on the front end should be greater than the width on the back end. And, so I'm just working that out here. This wood, it cuts interestingly, because I think what's happening with this wood is that when it's being worked, the oils are coming to the surface, or the oils are moving through the wood. And that's what gives it its dark, rich color, and you can kind of see this sheen on it. So I think that's where that's coming from. And then as the pen sits, the oils absorb into the material, into the wood, I guess, and then it returns to a more normal color for it as a dried wood. I don't know. That's my guess. Yeah. Oh yeah, back to what I was saying about the financials and stuff. So, I mean, $1,900 minus $100 is $1,800. So I still got a long way to go to get into the black. But I'm trying to be patient with this process, and I'm thinking a year or so. Yeah, ideally it'd be like sooner than that, but I'm okay waiting about a year to get things going. I'm taking this business course, and they're asking questions about what's the purpose and all this stuff. They're not trying to discourage anybody from doing anything, but I've been asking myself if like a stationary business is sustainable these days, and I kind of think it is. I kind of think like pens aren't going anywhere. For as digital as we are getting, I think that pens are sticking around, and maybe it's like film, it'll go away, and then people will be like, oh wait, I really like that, and then we'll get back into it. But I was thinking too with Sana Stationery and Gifts that I need to get more on the stationery and gifts bit. So instead of just pens and pencils, it'd be other things like I'm eyeing these shaving razor kits, safety razors. That'd be cool, and the stands, and then the brushes. If there's other materials for knitters and things like that, and sewing. So I thought, get my hands on some of that. What I really want to do, and I really hope to do this in the next few months, is start making fountain pens, because I just love fountain pens, and I've been sort of eyeing them, looking at them, but I haven't pulled the trigger yet. So maybe soon. Yeah. Manipulating these tools it's an interesting thing to do, but I absolutely love the symmetry of this process. Just everything's symmetrical, which I really like. I mean, I wonder if there's a way to sort of jazz things up a bit so that it's not so symmetrical. Okay, so here I'm putting in some little grooves. The Technica X had this large barrel at the front end of it, and then these grooves. It was rubber, but this is made out of wood, so I'm just adding them there. I'm just doing it by eye, because to measure it out and mark it and everything, it's I don't know. I don't know that it would have been any more efficient or gotten me any better results. But here it starts to look like a honey dipper. Is that what it's called? Honey dipper, I think. The thing you put into a jar of honey to get the honey out. So maybe that's what I'll call this. This pencil is the honey dipper pencil. One of the things I've noticed is sharpening of tools. I didn't realize how often you need to sharpen tools. Oh, I bought these micro mesh pads because I thought it'd be easier to work with, and it is. They are a lot easier to work with than those sheets. But I think it's suggested that you do like a wet sand with them, which is great because it keeps the dust down, and it helps me see some of the errors. But then it soaks into the wood, and I'm not sure how to. So I just kind of have to leave it sometimes to dry out before moving on to the next grit. I started right with micro mesh. I didn't go through the 150 through 600 sanding because this Palo Santo rosewood it's very sensitive to the abrasives. So I don't even like 600 grit would have been too much for it. So this is good. Just to go right to it, and the tooling plus the micro mesh and the pencil looked great. And that one t-shirt's really come in handy after I tore it up. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to sand from the other side, and I don't quite understand the rationale, but the as it's spinning, it's actually coming up into the sandpaper or the micro mesh as opposed to spinning down into it. I don't know if that makes a difference, but I don't know. A little bit of variation, just to keep things exciting. The water, you can kind of see it there on the end. That I'm wiping off now, but that slurry that forms, that's just wood and water coming together, and it forms that slurry. So you got to wipe it off, because if that gets in between the wood and the abrasive, then the abrasive's ineffective. One of the things I have noticed with these micro mesh pads and the wet sanding is that you don't get that shine on the wood in the same way you do with the other micro mesh sheets, not these pads, and dry sanding. In the end, they look great, but with those sheets, it was just, I don't know, it felt like you were making more progress than you were, I guess. Yeah, getting into those grooves was challenging. It was also challenging with the polish. The polish got in there, but I don't know that it's set properly. Anyway, it will in time. I sort of went at it a little bit afterwards and got it all fixed up. The other thing I was thinking about is how these handmade products, imperfections are kind of what define them, in a strange way. Because anything handmade, it's very unlikely to be an exact replica of something else. Whereas if something is machined, the process is infinitely repeatable, so long as, all of the factors remain the same. But when a person is doing something, there's just too many variables, like a slight slip, or half a second of inattention, or something will change the whole product, and I find that interesting. Anyway, okay, so here I'm applying the Shellawax. These blue shop towels have proved to be the best option when it comes to applying the Shellawax. So what I'm doing here is I'm sort of pinching the wood to create heat in order to help the Shellawax cure. And I thought I was getting into those grooves there, but I didn't, and so it took a little bit of doing after the fact to get the Shellawax to cure. I did do 2 coats just for good measure. I was finding that doing any more than 2, really, it was kind of a waste. But that's how you learn. again, I'm just trying to create some heat. I really like how this pencil turned out in the end. Yeah, that looks good. It feels really comfortable to write with as well. I'm really pleased with this pencil. Yeah. Right on. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, folks. I do appreciate you spending the time with me and listening to me ramble because I like to do that. And yeah, thanks for coming back. Well, I guess I'll talk to you in the next one.